Halo semua, selamat datang di Mind Slicer. Nama gue William dan co-host gue Chloe. Dan di podcast ini kita bakal ngomongin hal-hal seputar identitas diri, kepribadian, dan psikologi. Hope you enjoy it.
Hi guys, welcome back to Mind Slicer. And if you're new here, this is our second episode. And last episode, we already started to talk about MBTI. And for this episode, we're going to dive deeper into the world of MBTI. And we're going to start our 4-episode topic regarding roles. And today's roles that we're going to discuss is the analysts.
Basically, MBTI have 16 personality have, and those 4 roles are analysts, diplomats, sentinels, sama explorer ya. Dan today kita bakal bahas anti-types gitu, which is analyst ya. We're gonna talk about general things tentang anti-types sih, not dig deep to much of the details. Probably ntar kita bakal ngomong lagi di segmen lainnya, yaitu talking about each types deeper.
Okay.
Kalau misalnya kalian belum dengerin gitu ya, untuk basic functions atau basic kriteria untuk tahu gimana sih MBTI, itu kalian bisa dengerin di podcast episode 1. Dan kita hari ini bakal lebih deep, jadi sepertinya kalau misalnya kalian mau dengerin ini harus tahu dulu hal-hal yang kita jelasin di episode 1. Well, personally, just an overlook for anti-types gitu. I think they're very much logical, I guess, and I think they're quite visionary, of course. Dia memiliki suatu kemampuan intelektual lah untuk membuat sebuah hal. Unlike ST lah, they're very much focus on concrete world, which is not what anti-types is. They're very much focused on the conceptions of logic gitu. Kita bisa ngelihat kayak Bill Gates atau contoh-contoh orang-orang dari analis gitu. As they said, misalnya Bill Gates, Elon Musk gitu, where they make things by what makes sense, but it's not an easy things to say because it's conceptions gitu. Membuat sesuatu yang belum pernah ada gitu sebelumnya. Karena si Elon Musk membuat mobil listrik, dan juga misalnya si Bill Gates itu membuat sebuah software komputer yang dimana dulu komputer tuh sangatlah tidak mainstream dan tidak tahu gunanya tuh buat
It's quite abstract lah, makanya, yeah.
What do you think, Lo?
Oh yeah, by the way, let's take a step back. You're saying anti-type, so let me just explain to you guys. So reminding you that N is for intuition and T is for thinking. And that's actually what these personality types that fall under the role of analysts have in common. And since you guys already know that there's 16 types in this role, well, each of the roles, there are 4 personality types that fall under each role. And the NT types, as Will mentioned before, consist of INTJ, ENTJ, INTP, and ENTP. Now, what do you think, Will? What do they have in common? Like, what do you think this NT traits? How does it contribute to their personality? To me, I agree with you. Like, they're best known for their capability for solving problems, and I feel like they're known to be very smart in an intellectual sense. Yeah. What do you think? Like, what makes them that way? Like, from the 2 letters, let's say N and T. What do you think?
I think, well, the first thing is, what do they have in common is they used at their top 2 functions is they prefer intuitions and thinking, which is very much constructed the Jungian typology or perhaps cognitive functions of the types. Jadi misalnya kita break down dulu ya, Jungian typology gitu. There are 2 types of intuitions. Mungkin kan kalian tahu kan di MBTI itu ada 2 opsi gitu. Misalnya contoh seperti episode kemarin, sedikit recap nih. Misalnya extrovert sama introvert, sensing sama intuitions. But then each choice or each functions gitu punya dua lagi gitu. Jadi there's extroverted intuitions and introverted intuitions, dan juga ada extroverted thinking sama introverted thinking. Kenapa kita ngomongin dua ini aja? Karena masih ada lagi sebenarnya. Ada sensing, extroverted sensing, introverted sensing, ada juga extroverted feeling sama introverted feeling. Cuman kita nggak bahas itu dulu karena mungkin ini juga bukan bahas, just an overlook I guess, because we're talking about antitypes which they prefer these two functions basically, intuitions and thinking. Mereka jadi ada 4 gitu loh. There's di antara 4 types ini, which is INTJ. Kalau misalnya di 16 personality types kita bilangnya tuh the architect ya.
Architect. Yep.
Ya, kalau misalnya INTP, logicians ya.
Yeah, logician.
INTJ, commander, sama INTP, debater gitu.
Yep.
And they have this, mereka kayak punya dua fungsi dari 4 fungsi yang aku ucapkan tadi gitu. For example gitu, INTJ gitu. INTJ tuh punya NI dan juga TE.
Yeah, NI, by the way guys, NI is N, intuition, I, introverted. Okay, so NI, yeah. Kalau NE is extroverted intuition. I know it's a bit confusing at first, but I hope you guys can get used to this jargon soon. Yeah.
Yeah. TE juga extroverted thinking, sama TI itu introverted thinking. For example, INTJ, they have NI and TE. So what is NI? Architect's main function is NI. So I just want to describe it just a little bit, I guess. I think NI is focused on personal meanings, right? Just that simple personal meanings. I don't want to elaborate it because I think it's much deeper overlook, and then ntar kita malah ngomongin NI-nya gitu.
Yeah,
Jadi,
save it for the next episode.
Jadi personal meanings, NTE itu adalah effectiveness gitu. Which is maksudnya effectiveness itu apa? I think TE is focused on accomplishment.
Okay.
So what does it mean? So what does it mean? I think the architects ini, the NITE ini, they're very good at looking long-term solutions. So I think what I see from NITE, I guess, they're very future-oriented because NI functions is very much future-oriented. Yeah, I think they're very good at looking something in the future with common sense. And then again, moving on to INTP have this functions called TI, right? Introverted thinking. Di mana introvert thinking itu adalah focus on truth or real data. Ya, bayangin semua konsepsi tentang rationality dimasukin ke dalam satu hal gitu. So what does it mean is introverted is what you say last episode. It's moving inside, right? It's
the focus is internally.
So basically, if you have TI functions, you're looking for like the real world data. Kalian tuh kayak sortir gitu loh.
So it's like you filter.
Yeah. You do that. I think that's what TI did gitu. Terus habis itu ada namanya NI. Well, NI is an abstraction yang di-compact jadi meaning. Kalau NI itu adalah suatu novelty or sebuah idea. Exploration. It calls exploration. What does it mean? I think it means that it's about ideas. They're looking for ideas, bigger pictures.
Yeah.
So what does it mean? It means that TI who has NTP who has TI and NE gitu, dia punya sesuatu truths gitu about something that they're looking for, and they want to move it to a bigger picture. They want to move it to external world, you know.
Yep. Yeah.
I think it's very much, well, INTP is, for example, INTP, orang yang kayak INTP itu Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg. Well, they're looking for data that's very much valid about computer, and they want to share these conceptions to the world, or even like they want to make these concepts that can really work for the real world.
Yeah.
But it's very conceptual. It's still conceptual. Karena kan kita belum tahu, dulu pun nggak tahu gitu kalau misalnya komputer tuh bisa segininya gitu. But they brought it gitu. And I think ENTJ sama ENTP it's very much the same, I guess, because they're just dibalik-balik gitu.
Ya, tapi itu nanti bahasnya.
Ya, itu bahasnya ntar.
Cuman ya Mereka tuh ada NI, NI, cuman like Will mentioned before kan, there's the first function and the second function. Ya ketukar aja, jadi kayak misalnya INTJ ketukar sama INTJ, kayak TI-nya tuh di depan, kayak gitu-gitu deh. Tapi itu ntar.
Ya, itu kompleks.
Complicated.
Sorry, maybe aku juga startnya very complicated because probably someone yang nggak ngerti apalah gimana gitu. Cuma I guess it's just an overall look to anti-types gitu. So what do you think about it? What do you think about what they do have in common?
I think they're common. Okay, let's just break it down. Like they're called anti, right? Anti-types. That's what they have in common. And I think like the trait, let's say intuition trait, it really helps them to think in a larger spectrum gitu loh. Like they're known for, they love building systems. So they're very good at kind of like, I don't know, the way I see it is like they're looking from above, like a bird's eye view of like something that, like some intricate system that's abstract to them, but you know, kind of like a mastermind gitu loh. The way I see this anti people gitu ya. Especially kayak architect gitu kan. Very much like the guy, bird's eye view and like, I don't know, chessboard kind of thing. I don't know, that's what I visualize. And and like the thinking part helps them become very rational, and with combination of this intuition and thinking, I think it brings like several strengths that they have, which I'm just gonna mention it. I think the strengths of these analysts is that first of all, they're very curious. They're always problem solving, as I said before. Like their capability in problem solving is very good, and I think to be able to solve problems, you have to be curious first. But again, the way they solve their problems is in a very rational way. So they're trying to find out what makes sense, and like in a very strategic kind of way gitu. So their things are, I think, very intellectually smart, curious, strategic thinkers, and quite rational, I think. And I think also they have this tendency to be quite independent, because I mean, later I will bahas that. But then, with strengths, there's also like weaknesses, of course. What do you think, Will?
Yeah, I think because they focus on much on their logic gitu. I think malahan dia bisa dipandang semacam arogan gitu ataupun cold gitu. Ya sih. Because they prefer logic and what makes sense gitu loh, other than just personal values or their value structure probably. Because for example kayak aku punya teman INTJ gitu. He said that what I have is just some borders of logical sense gitu loh, and inside I don't have any values. Jadi,
Okay, yeah, I see.
Jadi cuma punya logis aja gitu loh, what they hold on to. Jadi sometimes it could be nggak emosional gitu loh.
Benar. By the way, you talk about emotional. There's a survey that says that 93% of analysts say that they listen to their heads rather than their hearts when making important decisions. So back again, the whole logical aspect, of course, you use your brain and like what makes sense. That's like very important to them. And I think, I don't know, this coldness, I think also not only comes from the T aspect, but sometimes when you have an intuitive trait, I find that you tend to be like lost in your head, kind of, less than compared to like the S types. And like this absence, like constantly in their mind, itu kayak kind of make them cold. It can put off that kind of front gitu loh.
But not always, I guess. I think there's some stereotypes of debater, Intp, and they're kind of cheery and cheerful, I guess. So I don't know, it's not all, but it's just overall stereotype, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah, benar.
So why are they called analysts?
Why are they called analysts?
Why do they called analysts? Kenapa?
Yeah, because when you, simple aja sih, when you put the N into intuition and the T thinking, you kind of get this analytical trait that all consist. That's why they're called analysts gitu.
Yeah, bener sih. I guess that's my answer.
Yeah.
Karena Simple itu aja sih ya. If they were working in a group, what do you think they would be good at? Kalau menurut kalian tuh mereka tuh gimana sih?
Biasanya nih, kayak aku liatnya ya, kalau analyst tuh cocoknya di bagian ya thinkingnya, misalnya research atau kayak yang bikin konsep-konsep, kayak apa ya, yang kayak the brain part gitu lah. I mean, oh ya, disclaimer, like kita jelasin kayak gini tuh bukan berarti kayak misalnya role lain tuh nggak bisa, kayak misalnya role diplomat atau apa nggak bisa research atau apa gitu. Tapi maksudnya generally this analysts tend to have their strengths di sini, but it doesn't mean that only this personality types is capable of this. Okay.
Oh ya.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I think. Like if they were working in a group, but you know what's interesting? They're known for having the tendency to be lone wolves. Jadi kayak they tend to not like group work. I think that also comes from the weakness of them being arrogant. It's like apa ya, mentalitas yang kayak yeah, I can do this myself gitu loh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I think for me, I think what they would be good at, I guess, interesting. Yeah, because I see them as a leader, can put visions on something gitu loh. Especially NTJ part, INTJ and NTJ part, they're leading people and know the way. You know, what I think is they're very good leader though. NTJ part, NTP not so much, but I think they can be a good leader. I guess. I think P persons, I think they're kind of like childlike.
Oh
They have,
really? Aku P person. Okay.
so I think they have kind of like childlike personality. And I want to put some stereotypes to INTP that they're kind of like cold or whatever. I think they have some kind of traits to be childlike and wonderful gitu loh. Kayak terus they have NE juga gitu kan, karena all P, NP, I think NP itu maksudnya punya traitsnya itu extroverted intuitions gitu loh. And I think NE is some kind of like dia tuh punya alright, if you generated ideas, basically what would you do is you kind of like an awe gitu, bukan an awe sih, kayak you
Amazed.
have amazed and you just kind of like have kayak lampu nyala di atas otak gitu loh, tau gak sih, kayak wah gitu.
Enggak, aku malah lihatnya when you explain that to me, aku kayak malah lihatnya kayak anak kecil yang kayak lihat kupu-kupu, terus kayak dia ngikutin gitu loh, yang kayak wow, you know, kind of easily distract. Kayak NE to me is like that, yeah.
Well, for me kayak gitu, kayak aku ngerasa kayak terus kayak nyala lampu, terus kayak ngeliat ini, wah ada apa nih nyala lampu, kayak I think they're like to projecting their intuitions to the world gitu loh. Jadi it just looks fun, I guess.
I guess yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I divided that into two different types of analysts, which is NTJ sama NTP. So what do you think, Chloe?
Apa? What do I think about what?
So what do you think about my thoughts? Do you think it's or not?
Again, I feel like there's many ways to divide things. That's one way. NTJ, NTP, and also see the introvert and extrovert part. And again, dibagi lagi, misalnya tadi kamu ngomongin tentang INTP and how they kind of have this childlike quality because of the NP. Itu kan juga dibagi lagi. NP kan juga ada type lain. Misalnya aku INFP juga.
Yeah.
Jadi bisa aja dibagi-bagi in different ways and it has a different characteristics, I guess. So actually I want to ask like some practical things ya. Dari tadi kan kita kayaknya kayak abstrak banget. So what do you think about career paths gini? Kayak misalnya siapa tahu nih yang dengerin podcast ini mereka salah satu dari 4 types ini, INTJ, INTP, INTJ, INTP gitu. Terus kayak mereka pengen tahu kayak what kind of career path yang cocok buat mereka sih, kayak I mean like cocok for their personality type gitu. What do you think?
I think they're good to be a scientist. I think they're very good at being a businessman. Of course, a marketing strategist, I think, and IT, I guess. There's very banyak sih asli, beda setiap tipe juga gitu. I think ENTJ sama INTP juga beda. But I think overall they're gonna go somewhere that can be done rationally.
Yes, that's true.
Though I think they juga bisa go to art. I think because
Interesting.
they have an. Yeah.
Because of what? Sorry?
They have an. Intuitions.
Oh, the N, right? Yeah, the abstract part. Bisa jadi.
And I think art juga some way it's a conceptual that makes sense bisa juga because for example movie is a conceptual that it can every plot twist have a reasons. It need to have a reasons, underlying reasons. What do you think though?
Well, I think that ya bener sih kayak I guess like let's not say like ya udah analis tuh cocoknya cuma di science misalnya gitu. Cuman what part of science that makes them cocok di science? Kayak misalnya ya karena science itu study yang sangat rational, yang kayak problem solving, needs that kind of mindset gitu. Jadi kalau bisa aja di field lain, tapi kalau kepake skill setnya itu bisa juga. Jadi nggak cuman, jadi mungkin bukan field ya, cuman kayak how the framework of thinking that's important. I guess this is ya to not mengkotak-kotakan orang lagi kayak ya udah cocoknya jadi scientist aja soalnya ya gitu deh. Tapi ya kayak gitu sih. And like you mentioned about film and like art. I just remembered like Christopher Nolan, right? His MBTI is INTJ.
Yeah, that's what they say though. We never really for sure until they take apa? Christopher Nolan sih.
Bener-bener. Ini kan cuman orang ngirain ya kayak I guess people on the internet speculate this because of his movies like misalnya Inception, Interstellar, sorry. He likes to think of system gitu loh. Kayak whole thing and like it just adds up together gitu loh, which is kind of going gitu loh. I think
I think NI juga sih itu. I think Christopher Nolan's movie is very because it's condensed to whatever meanings Christopher Nolan wants to say gitu loh. Like kayak ada sesuatu yang sesuatu hidden there gitu. And Nolan is very much he writes kalau misalnya belum tahu aku udah pernah bilang belum sih? Belum.
Udah episode 1 tapi nggak apa-apa ngomong aja.
Anak film and nulis Inceptions is for 10 years. Dia nulis Inceptions tuh selama 10 tahun.
Benar.
I think tuh aku bilang itu yang pas awal ya. And I itu very good at long term planning gitu loh.
Ya.
Nah, and this is one of the example. Kalau misalnya beneran Christopher Nolan itu adalah INTJ gitu ya. This is one of the example which what INTJ do to make such cuman satu movie itu selama 10 tahun buat nulisnya gitu. Because he wants to really make it perfect juga gitu, gradual and want to make it. Karena kalau misalnya menurut aku 10 tahun dia nggak nulis, endingnya nggak bakal kayak gitu. Itu kan endingnya keren banget.
Iya, dipikirin banget gitu loh kayak how it works-nya gitu. Kind of like building this world gitu loh, ya nggak sih?
Yeah. Well, I think I might add some few things, I guess. I think they also bisa jadi philosopher or even like theoretician. Yeah, I think they're very good at that because, and again, key means that conceptions and what makes sense. Right?
What makes sense.
Yeah. And misalnya writer yang terkenal, ini jadi kayak ngomongin INTJ doang deh.
Enggak, aku ada lagi, biar ganti. Wait, I have one. It's another film. Ini kan this is right up your alley, okay? Sorry guys, if you guys don't really know, but Tarantino is an ENTP. Did you know that?
Really? NFP?
Yeah. No. ENTP. Jadi dia juga ternyata analyst, guys. And like I don't know if you guys have watched some Tarantino films. I guess it's quite different, right? It kind of shows. I feel like ENTP there's this fun nature to it. Ya nggak sih? Kayak asik gak sih?
Yeah. I think everyone that have NE superior NE major gitu loh, E functions di atasnya, which is kalau misalnya kalian belum tahu yaitu ENTP dan ENFP, they're very much gitu loh, ngerti gak sih, fun and funny.
Kayak seru aja. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if Quentin Tarantino is NTP though. I'm not sure because ada yang di 16 personalities itu kalau nggak salah itu ENFP. Seingat aku ya.
Itu kan ya kayak gini, makanya guys, ini balik lagi, you cannot define someone, you can only, it's balik lagi ke preferences kan. Jadi kayak mungkin dilihat dari sisi ini, oh iya dia kayaknya thinking, tapi dari sisi lain dia feeling gitu kan, jadi kayak belum tentu juga.
Untuk make some clear statement gitu loh, di mana kita tuh aslinya I don't want to be seen like we judge someone by their types because we're not. Kita cuman pengen just understand the whole spectrums of these humans by these types gitu yang kayak kita sebut gitu loh. Karena I think these 8 types, 8 cognitive functions types, I think that's very much big enough to understand how people minds work. Not necessarily to the types, but just understand this as something that your mind can works. And I think you should perceive it as something that unbiased gitu loh. Maksudnya something unbiased, something yang mungkin bukan tentu type-nya ini, cuma kalian ngelihat kontennya gitu loh. Maksudnya ngelihat explanations-nya itu semacam bagaimana kemungkinan orang tuh berpikir gitu loh. Dibandingin kemungkinan tipe ini berpikir gitu.
Yeah.
So continue. And I think I'm a big fan philosophy. Kalau misalnya tentang filosofi, I'm a big fan of Nietzsche.
Nietzsche. Asik Nietzsche.
Yeah, Nietzsche.
Apa dia? Apa?
Nietzsche is INTJ.
INTJ.
According to 16 personality types. Okay. And I have this quote. Maybe it's not related though, but I think it's very DE, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
Because I think Friedrich Nietzsche itu backgroundnya he's very sick. Ya dia tuh emang orang tuanya dari generations juga sick. He's very sick. He cannot write. Dia kan nulis buku. And he cannot write, kayak lama-lama nggak bisa nulis gitu loh. Maksudnya nggak bisa nulis lama gitu loh, 3 page apa 4 page. Because dia bisa cuma tulis tuh sehari 2 kalimat. Karena benar-benar dipikirin gitu loh kalimatnya. They don't want to waste something gitu loh. Kalau misalnya emang bisa di-compact jadi satu gitu loh. It's very NIT, right? It's very NIT, right?
And I think apa ya, what I'm getting from this INTJ itu kayak there's this patience, you know, like they really want to invest on something. Kayak misalnya tadi Nolan 10 years on Inception, and then ini sehari cuma 2 kalimat. Kayak apa ya, there's this seriousness gitu, ya kan?
Yeah. And kayak pernah dibilang apa ya, I forgot, there's some critics to Nietzsche, I forgot lagi. I'll get back to this quotes when it's INTJ sessions probably.
Okay. All right then.
It's a very good quotes actually.
Well, on that note, I think is the end of this episode. Can we close?
Sure. Probably it's quite biased because kita ngomongin INTJ. Karena aku personally, I only have INTJ friends.
Oh, yeah.
INTJ is my brother.
Aku cuma kenal INTP, debater doang.
Iya, sih. Well, INTJ.
Enggak deh. Enggak. Aku kenal juga INTP. Oh God.
Oh yeah.
You know everyone. Oh no. Yeah, okay. Yaudah. I mean, we will get to know each types in the following episodes, right? Okay. So I guess for now we can close this episode, and thanks for listening for this episode. And for the next episode, we will talk about the second roles, which is the diplomats
or NF types.
NF
types.
Yep.
Yeah, NF.
Okay, so stay tuned, yeah, guys. Hope you can enjoy. Good night.
Okay. Dah.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Mind Slicer. See you again next week.